My dear brothers and sisters, the disciples now came back to Jesus to report whatever they had done, all that they have preached, and they reported to him that they had cured so many people from different illnesses. And when the disciples returned back to Jesus, many people who saw them, they started coming to Jesus and the disciples. And the gospel says that so many people were coming and going to the extent that they had no time even to eat or rest. So Jesus tells them, come away by yourselves to a lonely place. He's not saying to go, but he says to come. That is where we find true rest, that is in the presence of Jesus. That's why elsewhere in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus says, come to me all you who are burdened, because I will give you rest. In the presence of Jesus is true rest. And we, the humans today, especially in our world, which is so busy, so crazy, people don't have time for anything. We need to take time to withdraw ourselves from the world and to be able to be in the presence of Jesus. There is an incident told in the life of Saint John the Evangelist. You know Saint John the Evangelist, who authored one of the 4 Gospels and the letters written by him, and also the book of Revelation. You know, he must be very intellectual and must be very busy as to what to write to the Christian communities and what to write in the scriptures inspired by the Holy Spirit. And this incident is told about him that one day he had a sparrow that he domesticated. And when one hunter was passing by, this hunter saw that Saint John the Evangelist was playing with a sparrow. And this hunter was surprised because he is such a great man, great thinker and the apostle, author of the Bible books. And he playing with a sparrow. The hunter was surprised. And he said, how come you are playing with that tiny creature and wasting your time? That's what he said to Saint John. And Saint John replied, you being a hunter, how can you ask me this question? And in reply, Saint John asked him, why the string in your bow is not let loose? Why didn't you pull it tight and hold it always? And the hunter replied, you know, if it is tight all the time, it will lose its tension and will be useless. You know, if you pull it tight all the time, the string of the bow, it will lose its tension and it will be of no use when you want to release it to put your bow, your arrow. And Saint John replied to him in the same way. As you release the tension of the bow, also you must learn to release the tension inside of you. In our human hearts, we are worried about so many things, especially our world today. And we think that we can release our tensions in a different ways. And mostly we think that we can release our tension by going for a movie or by watching television, which is not true. Because the more television you watch, the more tension that increases in your heart. And that's why Jesus tells them, come to a lonely place with me. And this is the same invitation that Jesus is giving to all of us today, because we are busy with 101 things. And Jesus says, you come to me. I will give you rest, the true rest which nobody can take away from you. But the gospel says, as they went to a lonely place to escape, so to say, from the people, people found it out and they reached that place ahead of Jesus and the disciples. And humanly speaking, we will be very angry, upset with the crowds because we are already so tired and we wanted to have rest. And these people are not letting it happen. These people are not allowing to happen. And it happens in the lives of the parish priests and the priests as well. We are tired with so many masses, and sometimes we visit so many villages, and right after the mass, which is about more than an hour, you have prayed for all the people, and right after the mass, people will stand in queue and ask, Father, please put your hand and bless us. You get sometimes, you feel that there is no energy left. These people have just participated in the mass and then they are still asking for the blessing. And humanly speaking, we get irritated, we get tired, we get exhausted. But that's not the case with Jesus. When he saw these crowds coming back again, he feels compassion. When he saw that great crowd, he had compassion on them because they were like the sheep without a shepherd. And that is the heart of Jesus, a heart that has compassion, that has mercy, that understands our pain, our struggles and our desires. And brothers and sisters, today we are also celebrating the feast of the memory of Saint Paul Mickey and his companions. In total, 26, the first martyrs in the country of Japan, who shed their blood for Jesus. In the year 1597, on the 5th of February, these 26 martyrs, they decided to rather lose their life instead of renouncing Jesus. And of these 26 people, the famous one, well-known one is Saint Paul Mickey, who was undergoing the training to become a priest in the order of the Jesuits. He almost completed 11 to 12 years of seminary formation, and he was about to be ordained a priest, and then he was asked to renounce Jesus, which of course he denied. And as a result, all these 26 martyrs, they were tied to the cross and they were beheaded. And before they were beheaded, Saint Paul Mickey, from hanging the cross to which he was tied, he uttered these last words, that at this point of time, when he was hanging on the cross, when he was tied to the cross, he said, this is the highest place of my life. This is the highest point in my life, being on the cross. And he said, I am not angry or I am not upset with those who are going to kill me. I am forgiving them wholeheartedly. And he was very young, and even though he was ready to be martyred, he said that he wished that he would be martyred after his ordination to priesthood, so that he would die as a priest, because he wanted to have at least a few moments of his life lived as a priest. Of course, that was not God's will, and he accepted God's will. Brothers and sisters, these 26 martyrs are an example for us, because they were the first martyrs in Japan, and they chose to lose their life instead of blaming or renouncing Christ.